Some Mississippi minors accused of firearm-related crimes will soon face adult circuit court instead of youth court.
Supporters say the new law is meant to increase accountability for youth gun violence and stolen firearms.
Morgan Gill with the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center explains.
Senate Bill 2710 takes effect July 1st. It moves certain cases from youth court to adult circuit court, including some violent crimes, stolen firearm offenses, drive-by shootings, and firearm crimes tied to felonies. State Senator Joey Fillingane says law enforcement agencies and local leaders raised concerns about youth violence involving firearms.
The days of allowing young people, underage folks, to get away with very violent crimes using deadly weapons in Mississippi has ended.
The law also increases penalties for possessing, selling, or transferring stolen firearms. Matt Pelham, general manager of the lead dispensary in Hattiesburg, says 4 teenagers recently tried to break into his store.
They ran into the fenced area, the digital fence area. Everything started blaring and the lights started going off, and they got to the window and they saw this was bare.
Pelham says the teens shattered a window but never got inside. He says security helped stop the break-in, but stolen guns remain a concern.
I've heard that, gang initiations can include sending children in to steal firearms because their punishment is less severe than if the adults were to go do it themselves.
Fillingane says sheriffs, police chiefs, and municipal leaders pointed to an increase in gang-related violence involving minors and deadly weapons. The law also makes it a crime to intentionally shoot into a group of 2 or more people, even if no one is hurt. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Mississippi reported about 810 firearm-related deaths in 2024. Fillingane says the law is meant to send a clear message.
So if you're the younger person and you're dumb enough to agree to do these deadly type crimes and violent crimes, then you're going to pay the price regardless of your age.
Reporting for the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center, I'm Morgan Gill.